April 16th. Today I learned the comma. This is a comma. A period with a tail. Miss Gideon says it's important because it makes writing better. She said somebody could lose a lot of money if a comma isn't in the right place. I don't have any money, and I don't see how a comma keeps you from losing it. But she says everybody uses commas, so I'll use them too. April 17th. I used the comma wrong. It's punctuation. Miss Gideon told me to look up long words in the dictionary to learn to spell them. I said, what's the difference if you can read it anyway? She said it's part of your education, so from now on I'll look up all the words I'm not sure how to spell. It takes a long time to write them that way, but I think I'm remembering. I only have to look up once, and after that I get it right. Anyway, that's how I got the word punctuation right. It's that way in the dictionary. Miss Gideon says a period is a punctuation too, and there are lots of other marks to learn. I told her I thought all periods had to have tails, but she said no. You've got to mix them up. She showed me how to mix them up, and now I can mix up all kinds of punctuation in my writing. There are lots of rules to learn, but I'm getting them in my head. One thing I like about Dear Miss Gideon, that's the way it goes in a business letter if I ever go into business, is she always gives me a reason when I ask. She's a genius. I wish I could be smart like her. Punctuation is fun. April 18th. What a dope I am. I didn't understand what she was talking about. I read the grammar book last night. It explains the whole thing. Then I saw it was the same way as Miss Gideon was trying to tell me, but I didn't get it. I got up in the middle of the night and the whole thing straightened out of my mind. Miss Gideon said that the TV working in my sleep helped out. She said I reached a plateau. That's like a flat top of a hill. After figuring out how punctuation worked, I read over all my old progress reports from the beginning. Boy, did I had crazy spelling and punctuation. I told Miss Gideon I ought to go over the pages and fix all the mistakes, but she said, no, Charlie. Dr. Newmar wants them just as they are. That's why he let you keep them after they were photostated to see your own progress. You're coming along fast, Charlie. That made me feel good. After the lesson, I went down and played with Algernon. We don't race anymore. On April 20th, I feel sick inside. Not the sick for a doctor, but inside my chest it feels empty, like getting punched and a heartburn at the same time. I wasn't going to write about it, but I guess I got to, because it's important. Today was the first time I ever stayed home from work. Last night, Joe Carp and Frank Brelly invited me to a party. There were lots of girls and some men from the factory. I remember how sick I got last time and I drank too much, so I told Joe I didn't want anything to drink. He gave me a plain Coke instead. It tasted funny, but I thought it was just a bad taste in my mouth. We had a lot of fun for a while. Joe said I should dance with Ellen and she would teach me the steps. I fell a few times and I couldn't understand why, because no one else was dancing besides Ellen and me. And all the time I was tripping because somebody's foot was always sticking out. That's when I got up. I saw the look on Joe's face, and it gave me a funny feeling in my stomach. He's a scream, one of the girls said. Everyone was laughing. Frank said I ain't laughed so much since we sent him off to the newspaper that night and Muggies ditched him. Look at him. His face is red. He's blushing. Charlie is blushing. Hey, Ellen, what did you do to Charlie? I've never seen him act like that before. I didn't know what to do or where to turn. Everyone was looking at me and laughing, and I felt naked. I wanted to hide myself. I ran out into the street and threw up. Then I walked home. It's a funny feeling. I never knew that Joe and Frank and the others like to have me around all the time to make fun of me. Now I know what it means when they say to pull a Charlie Gordon. I'm ashamed. Progress Report 10. April 21st. Still didn't go into the factory. I told Mrs. Flynn, my landlady, to call and tell Mr. Donegan I was sick. Mrs. Flynn looks at me very funny, like she's scared of me. I think it's a good thing about finding out how everybody laughs at me. I thought about it a lot. It's because I'm so dumb and I don't even know when I'm doing something dumb. People think it's funny when a dumb person can't do things the same way they can. Anyway, I know I'm getting smarter every day. I know punctuation and I can spell good. I like to look up all the hard words in the dictionary and remember them. I'm reading a lot now, and Miss Gideon says I'm reading very fast. Sometimes I can even understand what I'm reading about, and it stays in my mind. There are times when I can close my eyes and think of a page, and it comes back like a picture. Besides history, geography, and arithmetic, Miss Gideon says I should start to learn a few foreign languages. Dr. Strauss gave me some more tapes to play while I sleep. I still don't understand how that conscious and unconscious mind works, but Dr. Strauss says not to worry yet. He asked me to promise that when I start learning college subjects next week, I wouldn't read any books on psychology. That is, until he gives me permission. I feel a lot better today, but I guess I'm still a little angry about all the time people were laughing and making fun of me because I wasn't so smart. When I become intelligent, like Dr. Strauss says, with 3 times my IQ of 68, then maybe I will be like everyone else, and people will like me and be friendly. I'm not sure what an IQ is. Dr. Newmore said it was something that was measured how intelligent you were, like a scale in the drugstore that weighs pounds. But Dr. Strauss had a big argument with him and said IQ didn't weigh intelligence at all. He said an IQ showed how much intelligence you can get, like the numbers on the outside of a measuring cup. You still had to fill up the cup with stuff. Then when I asked Bert, who gives me my intelligence test and works with Algernon, he said both of them were wrong, only I had to promise not to tell him he said so. Bert said that the IQ measures a lot of different things, including some of the things you learned already, and it really isn't any good at all. So I still don't know what an IQ is, except that mine is going to be over 200 soon. I didn't want to say anything, but I don't see how, if they don't know what it is or where it is, I don't see how much they know how much of it you got. Dr. Newmar says I have to take a Rorschach test tomorrow. I wonder what that is. April 22nd. I found out what a Rorschach test is. It's a test I took before the operation, the one with the ink blots on the pieces of cardboard. The man who gave me the test was the same one. I was scared to death of those ink blots. I knew he was going to ask me to find the pictures, and I knew I wouldn't be able to. I was thinking to myself, if there were only some way of knowing what kind of pictures there were hidden there. Maybe there weren't any pictures at all. Maybe it was just a trick to see if I was dumb enough to look for something that wasn't there. Just thinking about that made me sore at him. All right, Charlie, he said. You've seen these cards before, remember? Of course I remember. The way I said it, he knew I was angry, and he looked surprised. Yes, of course. Now, I want you to look at this one. What this might be. What do you see on this card? People see all sorts of things in these ink blots. Tell me what it might be for you, what it makes you think of. I was shocked. That wasn't what I had him to say. That wasn't what I had expected him to say at all. You mean there are no pictures hidden in these ink blots? He frowned and took off his glasses. What? Pictures hidden in the ink blots. Last time you told me that every one you could see in them, and you wanted me to find them too. He explained to me that the last time he had used almost the exact same words he was using now. I didn't believe it, and I still had the suspicion that he misled me at the time just for the fun of it. Unless, I don't know anymore. Could I have been that feeble-minded? We went through the cards slowly. One of them looked like a pair of bats tugging at something. Another one looked like 2 men fencing with swords. I imagined all sorts of things. I guess I got carried away. But I didn't trust him anymore, and I kept turning them around and even looking on the back to see if there was anything I was supposed to catch. While he was making his notes, I peeked out in the corner of my eye to read it. But it was all in code that looked like this: WF plus A, DDF, dash AD orig, WF, dash A, SF plus OBJ. The test still didn't make sense to me. It seems that anyone can make up lies about things that they really didn't see. How could he know I wasn't making a fool of him by mentioning things that I really didn't imagine? Maybe I'll understand it when Dr. Strauss lets me read up on psychology.